Hey everyone, welcome to March Kit, and this is a nice beautiful bright green layout, but I thought I'd start with this pattern paper and I would use these photos here just because of the green, but also I thought I'd dull down this pattern a little bit around the photos so that we could have that pop off the page but also have that beautiful pattern popping up on the page as well. So I'm just going to put, this is just some white gesso. I'm just using a silicone brush to squash it across the page in stripes. I'm not being too pedantic about it. I'm leaving a little bit of stripes and the marks and everything just for a bit of texture. And just using my photos to make sure I've got enough of the colour on the page, because I want it to be like a little border around the photos. Because obviously I'm going to put some layers behind the photos as always, and then some embellishments and a title on the page. So I definitely need a little bit of space with that gesso so that it pops from behind. Otherwise it'll just, you can see now that I've cut it and put that photo down on the paper, it gets lost. It's not standing out as much. So a good little trick to use that pattern paper that we all really love, which is a bit busy, is to use some gesso or even just some paint. Acrylic paint is nice to use just to block out a section behind the photo cluster. So just pulling out some papers now, some packaging, some papers, and I'm just going to layer behind the photo and work it up from that way, and that's how the page is going to come together. It actually came together really quickly. I think because we have that pattern paper in the background, it does a lot of the work for us in terms of visual appeal. And then I am just going to add a bit of clusters, a bit of embellishments, and call it a day really. So just going to start by sticking the photos together, but then I realise I do want a bit of layering behind the smaller ones, so I do put it there, because you can see it didn't pop off the green, just blended in with the background of the green of the other photo. So I'm just going to put all these layers together, and I've just basically kept this in to show you how I just go through it. So I pull out a portion of paper. Sorry, my son just slammed the door. A portion of the papers that I think go with the colour scheme or the theme, and then I just work from there, ripping pages and cutting paper and, you know, layering it which way, whatever way, any way I want. So I'm just going to use this packaging here from some of the stickers. And then this is also some packaging from the, they're called curios, but they like glass flare from the Kaiser Craft collection that we got. It's really pretty, sort of like a marbly kind of deep blue, as well. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's really nice anyway. I just thought that would be a nice little pop of colour and interest. So along with this one as well. So I'm using the cards that are the paper that's cut down to be the 4x6 cards, but I find they're really fun for layering. They're also really good for Project Life as well, obviously, pocket page, but I find a bit of a mixture of both is what I use mine for. So I'm just going to work on the layers for the little photo. It just needs a little something extra, not too much. It doesn't need as much as the top has. And I've decided on this little paper bag that came with the exclusive ephemera in the kit. So I'm just going to fold it roughly a little bit underneath, and then layer it under there and cut it so that it is the right size. That also gives it a bit of bulk and some texture, and it really pops off that second photo because of the white. So you can see when I was layering that top photo that they're not all straight. It just gives a little bit of pop of interest to the top of the photo, because I thought I won't be putting any embellishments up there, so I just wanted something to draw your eye to that part of the page, and that was going to be that layering that is all random, I guess, purposely but random at the same time. It's funny how when you try to be random, a lot of the times it doesn't work out so easily, but obviously the more you do it, the more, and the less you think about it, the better it becomes. Now I have a play with this little cut off, because I figure that would be a nice little pop of colour to bring down from the bigger photo to the bottom photo, but it just wasn't working, so I I give it the flick and I put it with my stash, well, with my kit, so that I can use it on another layout. So on we go. I'm really loving March kits. I think this, I've already, I got it a couple of days ago. No, 2 days ago. 1 day ago. Couple of days ago. And I've already made my 4 layouts for my design team projects. And then I'm already started on some other things as well using the kit. So this one obviously inspired me immensely as soon as I got it. Sometimes the kits they're always really lovely, as you know. When I'm unboxing them, I tell you what I think, but sometimes life gets in the way sometimes as well. But sometimes it can be like, oh, I really like this, I don't want to use it because I want to hoard it. How can I get myself to use it? And then so that becomes a little bit of a challenge sometimes, whereas this one I really loved, and I knew how it could all go together and make these layouts. So made a couple of layouts, made an art journal page as well for my design team projects this month. So definitely subscribe to the channel so that you can check them out and get the notifications as soon as they're uploaded. So I'm just working on embellishing in the title now. So I've added those 2 labels. I'm going to use this as my title. It's just a die cut. It says, "So happy we're here." And actually, I haven't told you, these photos are of my son when he was playing soccer last year. I'm pretty sure I got photos of every weekend of when he played soccer, but this is just one of those weekends. And I got an action shot, and while he's standing there also on the field watching the action happen at the other end. So it's nice to have those 2 little photos to tell the story, because he's a defender, so not always is the ball up his end of the field, but when it is, he runs and runs. He's pretty good at the defender position, and I kind of wish he was playing soccer this year, but I don't think he's going to be. So anyway, I just used the stamp there to put a phrase and also the date. So I just put May of 2018, and then it didn't stamp very well because, as you all know, well, I'm sure we all know, and I just forgot, you should stamp before you stick things on, because especially if your photo is up on some fun foam and is not flat to the ground, so it makes it harder to stamp on. So I just used my Sharpie pen to fill in the 2018. I did do some of the ghost stamping, as in like repeat stamping without re-inking, so that there's a little bit of faded ink in the background as well, and that just fills up that label. So I wrote my journaling in on the bottom label, and I wrote that fun. I didn't write that at all. I stuck on that fun phrase and with a staple in it. So I stapled it before I stuck it down. So if you are looking to have the look of a staple, but you don't have the ability to staple inside where you're putting the embellishment or your photo or whatever you're stapling, a good idea is to staple it before you stick it down. So I just pulled out these larger embellishments from the bottom of my really useful box, and I'm just working out if there's any that I want to add. I did add some of those hearts. So we got some puffy enamel hearts, and also some hearts in the die cuts, of course. Here's the Kaiser Craft sticker book that I'm looking through, and this is where I find these leaves. I didn't want any flowers on it, and I thought leaves was a perfect addition. I think the background pattern paper to me looked like leaves a bit, and we're on the soccer field, it's nice and green, so some leaves without it being, overwhelming is a nice little addition. So just making sure there's nothing else in this sticker book that I wanted. I did pull out a couple and try them, and then quickly go, nah, that's not going to work, and even look double checking. So now I'm just going to check through the puffy stickers and the die cuts to see what else it needs just to finish it off. It just needs a little bit more, not too much. So there's this die cut that came in the Breathe ephemera, and it's got these little flowers at the top, and I just cut them off because they were pink and they were blue, and I didn't need them at all. And I just told you I didn't want any flowers. So I've just put in some glue on, and I'm just going to stick that in there and start that. So I'm just going to end up layering these leaves here, and that's going to be my little embellishment cluster. I do find a puffy heart, not a puffy heart, leaves that are from the puffy sticker, and there's this one that I try. It's a nice little blue with a pop of green. So sometimes when you're just having, when you're building an embellishment cluster, it's nice to just have things audition pretty much. So you put them in and you go, is that going to work with this? Is that how it's going to go? Where does it go? And then stick to whatever looks good at the moment in your eyes. So I just wanted to put a little bit of leaves on the left-hand side. So I just pulled that one there and I cut off the the flower again. And I think this one's a puffy. This is where I went, ooh, how could I forget that we have puffy stickers? Nope, tell a lie. So I cut off the flower again. I'm going to stick that down. So there's that interest, that pop of different colour in the leaves. And I'm like, wow, that doesn't work at all. Fix that up. Put my head in the screenshot, of course. And I make it work. So you can see the leaves don't take away from everything going on, but it's just that little pop of interest to draw your eye around and revel in the goodness of the whole layout. So here I am with the puffies. Those puffy stickers are just delightful. I think I already need a new packet. I just, yeah, the picture, I mean, like the type of puffy stickers they are in terms of the leaves and the flowers and the icons and stuff, and there's a couple of words. They're just so usable and just so beautiful. So they even got some hearts on there. So there's not much more that goes on to this layout. I do add a bit of that, a puffy word there as another word phrase, and a puffy heart. And then I realized that my gesso is not standing out enough in the background, especially behind that cluster. So just pull it out and I just sneakily lift it up a little under, the photo layers, and then put it there so that you can see that it outlines and borders the cluster without taking away too much of the pattern paper. You can see the pattern behind the gesso, but it's not so much that it stands out and, compromises the look of the photo and the clusters. So I'm just trying to find the right pen that I want, and I'm going to do double doodly lined border. Nothing too drastic, and the good part about doing two lines is that you don't have to be straight. It makes up for that inability of mine to draw a straight line. So it hides it and makes it look like it's more purposeful in that you did it that way. So I'm going to add, this is where I was like, oh yeah, that had leaves on the stamp. So I thought I could, instead of doing squiggly lines or hearts or anything in the border, I put some of these leaves. Now it is so tricky to line up where you want your roller phrase or your roller picture stamp, and I found it so tricky, but I did my best, and I think it just has that little pop of interest at the top and the bottom of the border, just so your eye, because if you notice, it is a bit of a diagonal look in terms of the design, and that is going to just help that to draw your eye from the top to the bottom. Now I'm just going to use the green paint, the spray mist. Can't remember what its name was, sorry, but if you really want it, ask me down below or check out the unboxing, or even over on the Kitaholic's Facebook page or in the shop where the reveal of the kit is. So I'm just using it to put some purposeful dots. I even get out the blue as well, and then some little sprinkly dots, so you can see I'm picking up the paint and then dotting it onto the page with the nozzle and then sprinkling it as well. So that just means that you can be a bit more purposeful and have those bigger dots. So I do finish it off with a thing of twine, a little section of twine in that tag. And then I do realize that I probably should have put that tag up on some double-sided tape. So I do put that in now so that it sits properly and won't fall down and look crazy. But that's the layout, and I hope you enjoyed the process video today. Let us know down below, and I'll catch you next video. Bye.